everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Well, folks, the drought's ended, man. We've got very important breaking news to talk about, right?
Sure. New movie trilogy announced. It's all about Wookiees.
Jeez. Oh, man. Yeah, it's, been a little bit of a dry time for the wars. We do have the Dr. Aphra audio drama coming up here pretty quick. And then there's various other things dotted throughout the year. But, I did pick up a couple of news articles here that I figured would be interesting to chat about a little bit. But first, how's your week been going?
Oh, just terrible. Just worst week in the history of weeks. Nah, pretty decent. Just enjoying a little reprieve from the heat and just relaxing more than anything else, honestly.
Yeah.
Lazy week.
Yeah, we've definitely been getting the heat here lately.
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at a car this week. Sold your
did a test drive last night.
Sold your bike.
Yeah, that guy came like 3.5 hours away, loaded it into his truck bed, which I thought was kind of weird. Typically, I think he'd bring a trailer. That was good to get rid of that debt. A couple little other things. Trying to get a lease so I can be an old man, Just a completely old man, doesn't want to do anything with their vehicle. That's great.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't have a super high opinion of leasing myself, but it is what it is. I mean, I guess if you're gonna, do it, I mean, it's fine.
What about you? How's your week going?
Not too bad. Just back to work. We dealt with some family stuff last week, so had a few days off, and just sort of back at work. Had, I don't know, like 600-700 emails to come back into.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was great. Had a lot of system down stuff, so I had to do a bunch of editing and things, and it was great. It was fantastic, and it's Tuesday as we record this. we're a little late. We're a little late to the game, so to speak.
Just a little bit, yeah. Yeah, the weekend was kind of busy for me between the bike and whatnot, and some other things, some loose ends tied up. So, and with the test drive yesterday, this is the first day I've had free for a while.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's completely understandable. I mean, time is, still going pretty slow. We're still dealing with, kind of quarantine, kind of.
COVID?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. It all depends.
I guess if I was in Columbus, I would care more because, I'd have to wear a mask everywhere, but everything's kind of still open and roaring here, so
yeah. I mean, Columbus surrounding area. It all depends on the Mike DeWine, our governor's little map thing that he has. So it's largely dependent on counties, and even then, some counties are not. They're doing their own thing basically.
Yeah.
So
we've barely been hit by it, so we really don't. I don't want to say we're not really taking precautions, but we just haven't had to deal with it. So,
well, I mean, I've seen some stuff, down there, and people taking certain precautions. But I know when I came back to work, I had somebody ask, while you're doing all of the stuff you're doing, was anybody wearing masks or anything like that? I was like, no, not really, honestly. So that is what it is. I know eventually when we kind of get back into our work building, which, to be honest, I don't feel like is going to be anytime soon, there are going to be a lot of stipulations to coming back to that. So, I mean, we all have our opinions, I think, and we have our opinions. I'm not really going to make podcast about that. To be honest with you, I'm actually kind of tired. I've stopped listening to several podcasts here recently because it seems like that's all that's being talked about. And it's not just like, casually just saying, okay, so here's what's going on. Here's the week. Here's, what's going on in our area. It's become very, very charged and, very
it's more clickbait for a lot of podcasts, unfortunately. Yes. I think I watched a little bit of Joe Rogan the other day, and it seemed like the entire podcast, it's just nothing but that. So
yeah, well, I mean, there's
a lot of ones that I'm kind of trying to avoid just because I don't want them ruined for me.
Sure,
honestly, because I know that they're going to be talking about it.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, Rogan's gonna do that though. To be honest, I haven't like known any of his recent guests. He's had these guests. Like, who are these people?
He had some pretty big names back in the day, maybe.
Well, he does. He still has pretty big names, but and I think some of that is just to do with the time, and people aren't able to do it because, like, Hot Ones, the Sean Evans Hot Wing show. They've been setting them up sporadically where they will send the guest the sauces, and the guest is supposed to get wings, put them on,
really?
and they're doing it over, I don't know, whatever, Skype or Zoom or something like that. And the guest, I think if you're going to be a guest on there, it's largely contingent on, hey, can you provide good audio?
Yeah.
Can we get you set up how it needs to be? So, I think so much has just been affected. It's pretty nuts, but yeah, I've been staying away from some podcasts because it just seems to be the first thing off the top, and it gets old. It definitely does get old. I mean, we definitely we're not here to downgrade it or anything, but it's just, we know, we know.
Don't need to preach on it.
We've heard, we get it. And we just kind of need to like move to some entertainment. What I was going to say is, like, sports aren't really happening. I mean, I know that there's European soccer has kind of gotten back to it a little bit.
I heard ESPN broadcasted a, can't remember what game it was, but some kind of video game competition the other day because there's just nothing else to do.
Well, that's interesting.
Which is kind of neat in a way. I know they've been trying to push into that market a little bit. I think one of the lesser known ESPN channels, one of the ones that we don't have has that.
I think we're going to see ESPN kind of die out in our lifetime.
This is going to hurt them quite a bit.
No, it's not. It's not just this, and it's not just the time. I just don't think they've done a very good job of, like, really covering sports, to be honest. Because, like, when I was younger, I used to watch ESPN all the time, Sports Center. Back when they had the show Cold Pizza, I really liked that, which then turned into First and 10, I think, and then turned into First Take or something like that. But I used to keep up with a lot of those shows, PTI, Around the Horn. Those are still going on, but I just don't even really want to watch them anymore. I honestly think they've lost. I think that they've lost some of what they were and what they started as. I could be wrong, but I have that feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that we grew up with and that were staples seem to be dying out right now, though. It's strange. It seems like it's just a transition period for a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even stuff like, we grew up with Saturday Night Live, and that's certainly not what it used to be. It seems like no one's really trying to put effort into bringing it back.
Well, but Saturday Night Live has definitely had its ups and downs, I think. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't.
We certainly had the heyday
it.
of that, almost like ESPN too, for that matter. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and again, things can change and all that, but I am kind of a little worried about some of the sport. I mean, because ESPN was the only show in town for a long time, aside from like your local sportscasts, which you either watch or you don't. And I mean, I never.
It wasn't
really did,
much.
but whatever.
It was like maybe a 5-minute segment.
Yeah, for sure. News, weather, and sports, but mostly weather and some news.
Repeat
it. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I guess that's all about the rambling for that one guy who always used to say that we're not talking about Star Wars for so long. So that's about 11 minutes without.
We do
Star
this for
Wars.
you. We do this.
We do that for that one guy. That one.
I wonder if Contingency Plan's doing better. I'm just gonna listen to them. It's been a couple months. Nope. I'll revisit this in a year.
You know, honestly, that's such an old meme for us because I mean that was like legitimately probably over a year ago that happened, and we just don't let things go here on the Contingency Plan. We just don't let things go.
We really don't.
It makes.
I mean, that's honestly up there with. We'll talk about Syndulla later for us.
Yeah,
and
for
sure. You made a mark if you're in the same category as Syndulla.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some of our topics today. I think I'm going to go to one that honestly, I'm not super excited about, and I'm going to kind of call other people out who have been super duper excited about this.
Are you saying you're not excited to talk about it or excited about the prospect of it?
Well, I'm not really excited about the prospect of it necessarily. It could be good, but there again, I'm reserving judgment. But there was an announcement, and this isn't like a, random YouTube site. This was literally StarWars.com, that Star Wars The Bad Batch, all new animated series, will debut on Disney Plus in 2021.
This is our replacement for Clone Wars, essentially.
Yeah. I want to point out something. And y'all can go and say whatever you want, but I remember Twitter at the time when the Bad Batch episodes dominated the first quarter of the 7th season of Clone Wars. And we were all super excited about Clone Wars. It's like, but why are we watching the Bad Batch? I don't remember too many people that were out there saying, oh yeah, I'm so excited about the Bad Batch. These are great episodes. I just want to watch more of the Bad Batch. No, everybody consistently said, where's Ahsoka? Where's the story? We want the story, not this. But
now looking back,
kind of, yeah. But the thing is I looked on Twitter and I scrolled around and it's like, oh, I can't believe it. I'm so excited about this. Hey, is it okay, guys, if I say that I'm excited about the Bad Batch? You know what's really cool? The Bad Batch I don't know. Maybe these people weren't the same ones that weren't excited about it, but I know for a fact that there were at least 2 that come to mind that I know were not excited about the episodes when it was Clone Wars, and now are saying they're excited about it now coming up. Now.
Yeah, don't you hate that?
Kind of, yes. But that's Twitter. Now, I will say this. I am happy that we are continuing to get more series for Disney Plus because it keeps it fresh, keeps people interested in the platform, and keeps us with material. Yeah, it keeps us with material to talk about and stuff to speculate on, shows to do. That's great. But if I were to tell you that, yeah, man, I am so excited about the Bad Batch, I would be a complete liar because I would
call you out on that, and I think you would if I said the same. So
yeah,
we would self-regulate there.
Well, I mean, the thing is it's not that we said that the episodes in the Clone Wars were bad. We just like this
bland.
Yeah, this didn't need to be this many episodes. We could have easily wrapped this up sooner and gotten to the main story that we wanted to see, which essentially was the last, 3 or 4 episodes with Ahsoka.
So that brings me to the next question: are we going to have a new series on the twins? Not the twins, but sisters too, from the second.
I did kind of think about that, honestly. If there'd be some elaboration on what happened with them, but
and I would almost enjoy their story more because their characters were more interesting than the Bad Batch. Truthfully, they were flawed and they weren't perfect. They weren't my favorites, but they were better.
Well, you had the older sister who was kind of like a con artist, and the younger sister who was a, crack mechanic type of deal in her own homemade way. So yeah, there was an interesting dynamic, and you could definitely have the adventures of, I'm sorry, I can't remember their names anymore. That's my bad. But
can you remember any of the names from the Bad Batch either? Heavy, I think, was one of them.
Sure. Wasn't the one guy that we could never figure out what his superpower was, called Hunter or something like that? I could be wrong. This is great reporting. There's the sniper, the guy who never got lost, the super strong guy, and then the tech guy. That's what I remember. Yeah. And again, like, there are certain things, and I guess I'll fess up to this. There are certain things that I am casual about in the Star Wars universe. Books are not one of those things, but some of the side series and whatnot, I'm pretty casual about. I'll have an all day discussion about Rebels, but I might not have much to say about Clone Wars. It just all depends on what you're interested in. And I'm telling you this right now, I still have not watched Resistance. I still haven't done it.
I'll probably make some people mad, but I have no interest. The animation style, I can't stand it. I cannot stand the animation style.
I'll eventually watch it just to watch it someday when I feel like it. But yeah, I'm not really stoked to watch it. But yeah, you're right. The animation style is a little
It's bad. It's like watching all of our cartoons that we grew up with get reanimated, and it's just terrible.
Well, but a lot of people though said that Clone Wars was really clunky too. I think it was
clunky.
I think it got way better, but
it did. Well, the last season was leaps and bounds from what we watched before. I mean, it was truly great animation style, especially with Ahsoka, obviously the focal point. But my biggest fear, because this is a direct replacement, not continuation, a replacement for Clone Wars, is what they said. So what do we have? We have a less interesting cast. Maybe the same.
Voiced by one guy. The guy who does all the clones.
That guy, he has got to have the most rock solid position in all of Star Wars. Like, his job security is epic.
I'm going to look him up here, but I know he does the droids and the clones.
How can you beat that, truthfully?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah. I wonder how much he makes per episode. I don't really care about that all that often, but just with how much we hear him, I'm just curious how important they consider him.
I mean,
if he went away, you could not have the Clone Wars, truthfully. That would almost be grounds for canceling the show.
I'll be honest though. I think that there are a lot of voice actors. I think voice acting, at least from my sort of unknown standpoint, I actually think voice acting can be very competitive. But I also think that there are people that do mimicry all the time on YouTube. So I'll be honest with you, and it's just like the business world. It's like where I work. You could be replaced at any point, and I wouldn't replace them, but I'm just saying that there are a lot of people out there that are very good, that do voices that probably could, provide suitable voices. But yeah, I mean, he's been a huge part, obviously, throughout Clone Wars and also Rebels as well. So
I guess my thing is, they have potential for a really interesting story on this, but I don't know. It's just with the format of Clone Wars without characters that I truly care about, I don't know if I'd enjoy it. Because the actual storytelling without characters that I care about isn't the best.
It just
truly isn't.
Yeah, I think it depends on the story that they tell and how long it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it certainly has potential, especially with the timeline. I mean, we're talking right after Order 66. We get to see how the Bad Batch deals with that. We get to see how they're assimilated into the Empire and phased out of the Empire, which is something always interested me, was, you know, how the clones were treated in that transition period. So that's kind of cool. There's some rumors that Quinlan Voss might be in it, who has not really been seen much in the Star Wars universe other than just Dark Disciple and a few other little snippets, I would say, from Clone Wars. And I don't know how excited you are about Quinlan Voss. I thought he was kind of a cool character, but what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, he's fine. He touches stuff, gets visions. I mean, he was Cal Kestis before Cal Kestis, I guess. I don't know. I think, what was the book?
Dark Disciple.
Dark Disciple. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that that's one I haven't finished. I think I got bored halfway through. I might be misremembering, but I think that was one that I got bored with halfway through, and I stopped listening to it. Or I
couldn't get past the romance with Asajj.
No, that wasn't really my problem. I actually think that was it was an okay arc for Ventress. I'll be honest with you. I do get a little annoyed that we consistently use love as an arc towards redemption. Not just like friendship, but like actual romantic love. And that actually, I'm going to talk to you about this here for a second, see what your thoughts are, because I had a thought. I'm one of those people that I have thoughts in the shower. Okay. I take a shower, and there are times when I've wrote songs in my head that I don't remember after the shower, which is terrible because some of them sound really, or at least in my head, seem really good. But I also
try hop back in the shower, hoping you'd remember it. It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. But I was thinking about this the other day, and this is kind of like I actually wrote it down in my notepad. God, I almost forgot about this, because it's going to be the title of this episode. The title is going to be "We Saved the Star Wars Franchise." Clickbait inside. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let me run this past you and see what you think. Last Jedi. Instead of Ben killing Snoke, Rey kills Snoke the same way that Ben did. Hold on. So Rey kills Snoke because she is a BA. All right? She actually is that BA. We stop all the Mary Sue stuff and just say she's hero. Okay? We give you this OP character. We all know you wanted it to be Luke, but guess what? Rey does it all. So she kills Snoke. And then the scene changes. They fight the guards, because I actually did really like that. That was great. The scene where they're fighting.
Yeah, it was an amazing one-shot fight. It was awesome.
So they do that. And after they kill all the guards, Rey turns to Ben and says, "Join me." So you reverse roles. She holds out her hand towards Ben. "Join me. We need you to take down the First Order. We need your help." And he takes her hand. And that's his redemption. Now, keep following me here. So then this is also a way to keep Luke Skywalker alive. Just saying. Because he doesn't necessarily have to sacrifice himself. So the end of Last Jedi is taking out... oh my goodness. I just forgot his name. Our redhead buddy. What is his name? Come on.
Redhead buddy.
First order. Redhead. Oh, wow.
Hux?
Yeah. It ends on Crate. Hux comes
With Hux
down.
being the big baddie.
No. Hold on. So Hux comes down, does the walker thing. Rey and Ben stop him. And that's actually the end of his story. So then we go to Rise, or whatever you want to call it at this point. And it is Ben and Rey doing their resistance thing. And the new baddie is Rey freaking Sloane. She comes down with more ships, stronger ships from the unknown region. No Palpatine. I'm sorry, I like Palps, but no Palpatine, just Rey Sloane. You get a message saying, this is, I don't know, whatever she wants to call herself, the Grand Admiral. I would just stick with Grand Admiral. This is Grand Admiral Rey Sloane transmitting all over the place.
I just turned into Grand Moff at that point. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what's technically above what, to be honest with you. I think that.
I know if you go by Aftermath, they just kind of clash and they're on their own planes.
Yeah, but I mean, she was an admiral, so at this point, she's the admiral of everything. Grand Admiral makes sense to me. This is Grand Admiral Rey Sloane, and we're gonna come
with the 204th.
Whatever, but we're gonna come wipe you out now, and I'm bringing my fleet, and we're gonna do battle. So the entire.
Truthfully, I would enjoy that more. I think.
But wait, there's more. There's more because there has to be conflict. So we have this as our overarch. The Sloane's fleet is coming. We don't have enough ships. We've been damaged. Hux did a number before we took him out. So what do? Well, in the midst of all this, we learn one thing that, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if it was a mistake by the, that one crappy script that we're not going to talk about that was never made. But what if? I think we'd have to figure out who. I think we might have to assign a role to Rey's parents, but the conflict comes that Ben finally fesses up and says, under the order of Snoke, he did kill her parents. And that is the conflict that they go their separate ways. Maybe Rey, dabbles a little bit in the dark, goes back down in the Snappy Snap cave trying to find herself, and that's where Luke helps her out. And then on Ben's end, we get Leia helping him out, trying to get them back together, not as lovers, but as Jedi. I don't necessarily think it needs to be the whole love angle. I just think that they need to be buddies, super connected because they're Jedi. And then at the end, they are able to come together and have the epic showdown with Sloane's fleet. That's what I think I would have liked.
I doubt you'll like this, but just a little twist that would kind of be interesting and would kind of show why Luke is so against helping Ben. So with Rey's parents, I know there's been a lot of speculation. A lot of people don't like the idea. I still kind of, in a way, like the idea of her being Luke's daughter. Okay. Just in a way. So what if this is our way of introducing maybe Mara, maybe not, but when Ben ransacks the Jedi Temple, Luke's little group, what if he kills Luke's wife in the process? And that's the reveal, which is why Luke's so apprehensive to bring Ben back into the fold. And that would be a reason for Rey to kind of turn towards the dark side a bit, kind of abandon him.
I think he only needs to kill one person or persons, but in group form.
Well, I'm saying it's a reveal of who Rey's parents are, and also. Oh,
I'm sorry.
By the way, I killed one of them.
Herpaderp, I get you. I'm cool with her not being a Skywalker. I kind of think you. I kind of think
it'd be kind. I don't know. I kind of think it would be neat in a way to have a Skywalker from both siblings, kind of in a less awkward romantic way. I think it would have been a cooler relationship than just some random love story, truthfully.
I honestly think it just goes too much back to the originals. For me, I think and I'm not disagreeing that might not be a good idea, but like for me, I don't want them to be, I don't want them to be related. I don't really want them to be a dyad in the Force or a triad or a quadriplegic or whatever. I don't need that. I just kind of want them to be a couple of great Jedi. That's all I really wanted.
I see that.
So I don't know. And this isn't to say like, oh man, he hates Rise and Last Jedi. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like, in my somewhat uneducated opinion, that's potentially what I had a thought about that might have been kind of cool.
Right. Sloane is a better villain in that she is... It's more realistic that you could beat her if you had the numbers and the skill, but she is so intelligent and skilled in her own right, and she has such a good force to back her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just Palpatine's too overwhelming if you don't have Rey. Sloane isn't. It's a more realistic fight, in my opinion. Almost kind of like how in the original you have Tarkin, who is just a more grounded baddie, truthfully.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he seems untouchable, but he's not just ridiculously OP like Palpatine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it would kind of go back to that, to the roots a little bit there.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose I see what you say. I see what you mean there. Yeah. Yep.
It would just kind of shift the focus more on the Resistance and less on two Jedi, I guess.
Maybe.
It'd be a change of pace a bit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, that was just a thought I had while showering. So, do with that what you want. Anyway.
What's our other news? Thrilling news.
Let's see. More thrilling news. Let's talk about the other crazy thing. So, let me look up this person's name. Yes. Lord Doomcock. Overlord DVD YouTube channel. I encourage you not to go there. So this
Why?
So this person, okay. So first and foremost, I'm tired of people coming up and saying, "Well, I've got in-center sources. I know a guy who knows a guy, or I know a top executive, or I've talked to blah blah blah." All right.
I know the person who brings coffee to the top executive.
Yeah. See, this is always kind of like one of those things that people go through and we think about it too much. It's like, okay, just name the source. If they're talking crap, name the source. If they are going to talk crap, then they should know that they're going to be named, and that should just be the end of it. So essentially what's going on is, or the thought process is that Kathleen Kennedy is potentially out and we're going to get this whole reset on the Star Wars universe. Now, in some of this, it's included or alluded to using the world between the worlds to like reset the franchise, essentially just like killing off the sequel trilogy. So will Kathleen Kennedy be with Disney long term? Honestly, who knows? That's going to be a tough one. And I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't for the long term. But to say that Disney is going to do a full reset because some internet trolls are angry about the route that they've taken, personally, I think is a bit ridiculous. And it's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen the way you think it will. But what I do think will happen is that we'll probably get more series that are geared towards what some of the fans want to see, a la like The Mandalorian. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I'll be honest, I've kind of danced around in my head both sides of this, the idea of completely resetting it. Just in a way, it'd be kind of interesting. But I always go back to one thing. When we were growing up and we got to enjoy the prequels, there are a lot of people who hated them just like people who hate this trilogy.
Yeah.
But they meant quite a bit to us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot, let's be honest. And I always think back how I would feel if they just completely, right after releasing Revenge of the Sith said, oh yeah, none of this is true. We messed up. Anakin is not even a thing. This is just, this is bogus. We're resetting, just ignore all that. And I always try to remember this is for this generation. And I don't think that this generation really minds the story. I think it's mainly just those of us who have grown up in it and doesn't like change. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to throw our generation under the bus, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be fair to this new generation, all these kids growing up and discovering Star Wars for the first time, and all the little girls who have Rey to look up to as a character because she is a strong female character.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of negative around some of the female characters of Star Wars right now, and how obsessed Kathleen Kennedy seems to be about just only focusing on the female characters. But we've gotten some good characters out of this series, this trilogy, and I don't really want to see them go.
Yeah.
Even if you just look at the simple things like Temmin,
Mm-hmm.
How cool's Temmin? He'd be gone. Mr. Bones be gone. Everything from the Alphabet Squadron that we did enjoy would be gone. I don't think
that that's what they mean, though. I honestly think it strictly will be.
But how do you tie any of that in, really?
I don't think that that's the thought. I think literally what they're saying is they're just erasing. I do know what you mean. I do totally understand, but I think what the thought is, and this is where you start poking holes in these sort of things, but I literally think that their only thought is erasing the sequel trilogy.
Force Awakens on.
Yeah. I literally think that that's the only thing that the focus is on. So, yes.
But then where do you stop that? Because in Aftermath, there's a lot of focus right after Fall of the Empire,
mm-hmm.
but that ties right into Hutts. So where do you end it? Where do you really, cut the cord?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's tough. Again, that's why it won't happen, though. That's legitimately why it won't happen.
Could you imagine how much of a laughingstock Disney would be if there were 3 movies out there that were labeled Star Wars? 5, actually, if you think they're going to replace or do this to all of them. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
5 movies out of 11 that say Star Wars that are not canon.
Yeah.
Literally half of the Star Wars movies are not canon. It's just such a ridiculous concept to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think these people are really thinking it through. They like the idea of it, and they don't want to think of the consequences.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure that there are some people out there who have like some, quotations, brilliant ideas about how you can do this and so forth. And honestly, it might come down to some of it. You are keeping the characters, but just completely rewriting their entire story arcs. So whereas like, I don't know, maybe Ben isn't evil, or maybe Snoke is the big bad guy that we kind of speculated that he was. No Palpatine. I don't know. I think it just gets messy. I don't really like
time and effort would we really want people to put into that instead of new IPs, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's my point at the end of it. I think that I don't know, man. I think that it's overthinking. I think it's making something out of nothing. So Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna go. It wouldn't be prudent, I wouldn't believe, for it to go that way. But what do I know?
And I guess I would kind of challenge all Star Wars fans in this respect. Do you really like every part of Star Wars?
Well, no, obviously, I complained about a few things already.
Yeah, I mean, but you've complained about things from back when we were growing up, some of the books that came out, some of the stuff in the original trilogy, some of the stuff in the prequels. There's something for every Star Wars fan to find and not like.
Right.
It is literally nigh impossible to enjoy every bit of Star Wars content. It just can't happen. I don't know of a fan who is into everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a thought, but how about we just accept that there are things that we don't like, enjoy what we like, and move on.
Because
and not try and destroy an entire trilogy.
That's not how it works. We have to get what we want.
You know, maybe for all the people who didn't like the Mustafar fight on Revenge of the Sith, maybe you can just not watch it and enjoy what you do like. And same with these movies, ultimately. Disney, Star Wars, our fandom, our own obsession with Star Wars isn't forcing us to rewatch those movies.
True.
We have the choice to just consume the content we do enjoy.
Yeah.
There are people out there who probably were really offended we didn't like the new Alphabet Squadron book. They really, truly enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't ask for the writer to completely disregard it and say, oh, this doesn't count anymore. This book is, just don't read it. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's just something that happened. We weren't the biggest fans, and we moved on. Yep. I haven't really thought about it all that much outside of that review.
Right. Same.
Hasn't ruined my week, my month.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't know. It's just how people are sometimes. It's just how people are.
And I would also argue that if we focus too much on rewriting what's already been written, it really takes away from all the good content that is coming out. And you might not like those movies, but I bet that you could find something else has come out recently, or is about to, that you might be excited about.
Sure. I mean, I know.
Would you rather have?
Yeah. I mean, I know people who solely enjoy the cartoons. Know people who only like Rogue One. Or, a ton of people who solely got into Star Wars because of The Mandalorian. So, yeah, man.
Or even just the Old Republic. Don't care about anything but that.
True.
There's a lot of fans that only care about the Old Republic.
True that. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's wishful thinking. Kathleen Kennedy's contract, I believe, does end in 2021. And
there was talk that hasn't been renewed yet. That doesn't mean it can't be.
Exactly. It's very possible that there could be a renewal. And, we don't really know. And we aren't going to know until it's time. So
yeah.
I just am usually leery of, in quotations, leaks, because they don't always prove to be accurate all the time.
Yeah.
Especially from Captain Doomcock.
And there was a lot of talk in this article about how he was right about a lot of the things with Rise of Skywalker and a few other leaks and whatnot. But
yeah, but I mean, like, there are tons of people that are right on a ton of different things. It doesn't mean that, that you're going to get everything right every single time. So let's not get crazy here, guys.
yeah.
What a world, man. What a world of Star Wars we live in. It's crazy. Maybe Baby Yoda will just save us all when season 2 of The Mandalorian comes out.
In this crazy world where, as we expand the universe, we just seem to grow apart. Baby Yoda is the center, the rock, the pull from the force that brings us all back together.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've seen post about, because the toys are now actually getting out like months later.
T-shirts too, yeah.
Yeah, but like people are buying those little Baby Yoda things like nuts, literal nuts. It's like
most of the Baby Yoda toys are kind of creepy, especially the animatronic ones.
Yeah, I did you see the Black Series Baby Yoda, which is literally like the size of your thumb?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made a little tiny Baby Yoda.
Is it just an accessory for the Mandalorian?
I don't know. It was a figure. It had a frog, and I think it had something else like another accessory with it. So it was just its own little thing, man.
Same price as all the full size, I'm sure.
I don't remember. I think it was a little cheaper. I honestly think it was a little cheaper.
A lot less plastic used.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is like on the secondary market, because I don't know. I did, when the Mandalorian Black Series came out, I did go to 2 stores to see if I could find one, and I couldn't. I wasn't able to find one. I did miss out on a couple of crops that came up on Amazon, for $20, and I missed it. I'm not really a toy collector, but I did think that one was kind of cool. I was like, for $20, sure, whatever. I'll spend $20 on Mando. But, I just didn't find it, and I looked online. eBay were selling for, double price, triple price, and I'm not going to do that because it just doesn't tickle my fancy like that. So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Come on, man, though. You want that Baby Yoda.
No, I'm pretty good. I don't need it.
Just think, you could buy multiple, and like every little compartment in your truck that pops open for like. Jeez. Imagine if you had a little ashtray in your truck, like the old school cars did. You could just have a little Baby Yoda there. You're having a bad day, head to work, you just pop that open. You got a little Baby Yoda to make you happy.
He could be up on the rear view mirror.
Hang him on your rear view mirror.
With the fuzzy dice, yeah. Han Solo's dice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
That disappear every other day. You just take them down. Act like they're disappearing. Yeah, it's great.
Sure. Okay.
Are you trying to say that Baby Yoda is Han Solo's son?
Why not? He was rogue. He was roguing it around all over the place. You never know what that guy got into. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. Well, final bit of news here was there was an excerpt that came out from the upcoming Thrawn novel, Ascendancy, Chaos Rising. And did you read it?
I read a little bit of it. I didn't read the entire chapter that they released.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to sum up. Basically, there was an attack, and it was beaten back pretty effectively. But, this, what was the general's name? Let me get his name here. Bakif, was brought in front of the the 5 families, the 5 New York families. Now, here's what we're going to do, Bakif. We need to know everything that you know about the guys that attacked us. Why did they attack us, all right?
It was the Yakuza.
We need to make them pay, okay? Nobody comes at us. Nobody comes at the chest, all right? Nobody. You better send them a message that they'll never forget. So, God, he made up so many words in here. The Syndicure.
Yeah. Didn't you love that?
No. The Aristocra. Right. Okay, Timmy. Let's just chill here for a bit. But long story short, he does go up. I think it was 9 ruling families, if I remember correctly. And the speaker, basically wants to know everything about it. how are we going to make them pay? We want we want their names. We want them dead. We want their families dead. We want their children dead. The dogs dead. So they're going nuts. He's just, the general's just sort of sitting back like, yeah, okay. All right. Hey, I wonder what Thrawn's up to. But essentially he kind of realizes that there's something more here. What if while this was happening, something else was happening? So clearly a little bit more cognizant of what there could be a threat. It's like, yeah, I mean, obviously there was a threat. We did neutralize it, but there's got to be something more to this. And he does bring up Captain Thrawn. He's going to go see him in a derelict ship. And I guess, they kind of inundated that maybe Thrawn is not very popular because of an action he was in. So I think obviously the general has... Man, all that mobster talking kind of, fried my vocal box, man. Need to go get some cotton balls to put in my cheeks, and I'll just go off like the Don for the rest of my life. But anyway, it seems like, at least in the general's eyes, Thrawn's a respectable person. He knows his talents. And, he's going to go try and see what the actual threat is. So, I don't know. Like, I know you haven't read the Thrawn novels, but, Thrawn in the 3 canon novels. Now, there were non-canon novels. Timothy Zahn has been writing about Thrawn for some time. Obviously, Thrawn was in Rebels as well, so the character's been around. But I think there were definitely a lot of people through reading the canon Thrawn trilogy that, definitely called him Mary Sue. He's never wrong. He always knows what's going on. Nothing ever surprises him, blah, blah, blah. Until Ezra Bridger shows up, takes him away with space whales. But I find Thrawn to be interesting. I find his character to be interesting. And like we were talking about this earlier, yes, he works for the Emperor, but if push comes to shove, Thrawn's gonna go to his people. He'll leave the Emperor in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's interesting, his story arc, and even his whole being in the Emperor's company was a plan. I mean, his entire thing, it was all a scheme to, essentially basically just help Chiss. That's all he cares about. So I guess it'll be interesting to see an earlier version of Thrawn, but I really think what people wanted was a continuation of the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which honestly starts me thinking if there isn't going to be some sort of either live action or animated show that continues his story. Because this is the thing. This is why I keep saying, what do we want? Rebels Season 5. When do we want it? Like last year, okay? What happens to Ezra? What
now
happens
it's going to be after Bad Batch.
I mean, well...
or replaced by Bad Batch.
Well, it's possible we might never get it. But the whole thing is like even, tying in Mandalorian and how many people that have been rumored to join that, it's like, well, listen, okay, so, Ahsoka will show up, Sabine will show up. Yeah, but can we show what happened and like them finding Ezra and like what actually happened with Thrawn and all this stuff? Because, yeah, I love the Mandalorian, but I want this stuff separate. I want this stuff well explained. And
could you imagine finding out what happened with Ezra in something other than Rebels? Truthfully,
no.
I'd be kind of mad.
Well, unless it was a movie
or a novel, but yeah,
no, I think it deserves to be on the screen.
But a tie-in into Mandalorian?
Yeah, it didn't.
A tie-in into Mandalorian? No, that's not how I want to find out.
I don't think we will, but at any rate, there's so much that needs to be tied up from Rebels, and there's been some stuff with Filoni saying, "Oh, I'm happy with the way it ended." It's like, but it didn't end. You ended it on a cliffhanger. You didn't tell us what actually happened. So I don't know. I know that kind of got a little out of the way.
Getting that mixed up with Clone Wars.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, legitimately, this is what he said. And I think, Filoni's one of those guys that could potentially be tricked into telling you all of his secrets if you're really, really good.
He gets too nerdy and excited. He just lets something slip.
Well, I mean, at the panels in Chicago, man, I mean, there were times when you could clearly tell it's like Favreau's over there like, Dave,
shut up.
If you say one more thing, I'm going to murder you in front of these 10,000 people. But
why did we let him speak again? What do you mean it was my decision?
Well, he's just
I didn't know better.
He's just bursting, He's. Yeah. I think he really wants to tell the stories, and I want to hear the stories. I don't need the mystery. I need the conclusion. We need to wrap this stuff up a little bit better. But anyway, back to Thrawn. I mean, I think it'll be interesting, but I think this is all just leading up to, what the threat is to the Chiss, that Thrawn felt the need, or the Ascendancy felt the need to send Thrawn to, the Emperor to, potentially gain some sort of help or advantage or whatever. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm interested in seeing what it is, but at the end of it, we're going backwards. We're going backwards to go forwards, maybe.
Everyone likes origin stories, especially Marvel.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Except with Marvel, their origin stories come first.
Yeah, true, very true.
So, well, anything else on Thrawn you wanted to talk about?
I don't have a lot to weigh in on, unfortunately. It is something that I need to fix. Thrawn has always been my weakest point in Star Wars, truthfully. I am excited to get into the series. So another book coming out, it's just another motivation.
Yeah.
So
read, man, read.
I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from that, that's pretty much the news we had for the week. Talking points we had for the week. The making people angry. We've made enough people angry, I guess, for the week. So
that's our favorite pastime.
Yeah, I guess. So I think that's about it for me. I mean, as always, folks, make sure you're following us on the social medias for any potential news or anything that we're doing here. I believe we're probably going to start diving into Aftermath, I think, next, right? And I have some potential changes coming to Patreon as well. For anyone who supports us. I mean, we haven't been very active on there. It was just a symptom of not having anybody supporting us on the platform. So
it's all your fault.
Clearly. But no, I mean, when you don't have anybody on there, I mean, it's kind of hard to make content for it. But I do have some things that I want to tie into there just when I get the time to really put them down. But so we're probably gonna be revamping that a little bit in the future. So that'll be some extra stuff. But yeah, I mean, Twitter at TC Plan Podcast. We're on Facebook. And if you want to share your Star Wars story or any of your thoughts or, your conspiracy theories about things, whatever that might be, you can always send us an email too at tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. But aside from that, folks, that will be about it for us. So you guys have a great rest of your week.
And as always, may the Force be with you.